Hey, everybody. This is Dimensions of the Supernatural. I am Maureen Grzinski, and I'm here with my great co host, Anthony Simonelli, otherwise known as.
Hey, Mr. Forget About, how you doing tonight?
So, this is going to go a little bit different. Again, I am not home. I am in the beautiful beach town of Ocean City, Maryland. As you can hear the music in the background, there is a 3-day music festival here called Ocean's Calling, and I will possibly put up some videos while I'm there. So since I am not able to get service and I'm even losing some things while I'm doing that, I'm going to have Anthony take over for me tonight. So I'm going to bring our guest in. Her name is Kim Geyer. Anthony, what is it?
Jim Geyer. See, I got it
Great
right.
job. Great job. So, I'm going to bring her in. She is a lovely girl. And let's see. I hope she's here. Okay, there she is. Hi, Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Hello. Hi, all.
Okay. So, Kim, I'm going to let you take over. I'm kidding. You can take care of Anthony while I'm gone. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to take off for a little bit. I might even hit a bar down the street. It's a little bit lit up here. But I'm definitely going to be in a place where I could try to find some service, and I'll try to stop in once in a while. I'll miss you guys too. So you guys talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about, and maybe I'll stop in, but I'll definitely come back so I can pop you guys out of the show.
Okay.
I will see you later.
Right, sounds good. Thank you. Have fun.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Okay. Have a good time at the bar. I just want to say, Bobby, can you take that down? Bobby, just take down the thing down underneath us. Thank you. Okay. Kim, how you doing?
Anthony.
Hey. So, been a while. Well, not that long. I seen you not too long ago, didn't I? Where were we?
We did, yeah. Yeah.
The Strauss Mansion or whatever. We've been doing a couple things together, different locations.
Yeah, historic Speedwell. Yep.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we have stuff coming up together.
Yeah, we have a couple things coming up, which is awesome. So, Kim, you're here tonight. We're going to talk. You know I could talk. Everybody in the audience knows I could talk. So, what do you do? What I mean, you're a medium, but you have some fancy word in front of it and stuff. And explain, please.
You're so funny.
Like I have no idea what's going on.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here tonight on your podcast. Excuse me. Thank you for the invite tonight. And yes, I can talk about the paranormal and spirits and mediumship and ghosts and history and all of that for hours and hours and hours. So hopefully it won't be too long on the history part. But so yeah, what do I do? So I am a evidential location medium, which is a little unique and different. But I'm a medium who goes to locations and reads the location. So it's been really helpful, obviously, in paranormal investigations or even like house readings. People are having experiences in their homes. And any kind of historical location that has history behind it or experiences that people are having. It's been very useful for all of that, because when I'm at the location, I'm communicating with spirits that are there, communicating with spirits who want to talk about the location, and then also psychically and a little bit of remote viewing too. It's kind of a whole smorgasbord of stuff happening. Seeing residual stuff around me as well. So that's kind of what I do as far as like the paranormal part of it. But I do demonstrations too as well with loved ones. And that's kind of like the paranormal side gig that I do there.
Yeah, the paranormal side gig. Oh, that's good. Thank you. The show's over. No. But that's
all done. We got it.
That's all. But like in the past. I mean, I first met you, I don't know how many years ago, but we were at the Shanley Hotel, and
Yeah.
it was Richard, and you're part of the Richard's team, aren't
Yes.
you?
New Jersey Paranormal Project. Yes. Yep.
Yes. And I met you there with a couple of his people, and it was an interesting night. We were upstairs. I don't know if you remember that. Up in the
Of
Shanley,
course
we
I
were in
remember
that
that
room where
night.
that woman hung herself,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of activity there. Stuff was happening. The chair moved on us. Remember that?
Yep.
The
Yep.
chair
Yeah.
moved.
One of the other ladies that was there had a very moving experience physically and emotionally. Yeah, it moved her chair as she was sitting in it.
Yeah.
And then all our devices were going off. And then at the same time, I started getting this like overwhelming feeling of something, a male that was not super great, but that's also been kind of reported in that area also.
Yeah.
Footsteps down the hallway. I mean, that same
Yeah,
area,
that was
footsteps down
wild.
the hallway. I literally was like, somebody just literally walked across the hall and nothing.
We were sitting in that room, and we actually heard footsteps go by the door. Remember, I
Yeah.
think walking back and
Yep.
forth. And we're on the third
Yep.
floor. We're on the third floor of the Shanley Hotel, and a lot of people in the audience haven't been there yet. But the third floor on the Shanley Hotel is one of the most haunted locations in that hotel. Nobody
Yep.
actually sleeps up there, and that's where they keep it dark and everything. Second floor is where everybody have their whole, the beds and everything, and everybody sleeps there. But that was an interesting night, really was. The lights in the ceiling started. There was like little green lights all over the ceiling at one time. I don't know if you were in the room at that time. There was
I
two
don't
other
know. Yeah,
people.
I don't think I
There was
was.
two other people in the room because we were. I mean, we did the whole hotel. So
Yeah.
that was interesting with that. It's like I think that was the first time I ever met you because we just
Yeah.
started walking from there, and then we became friendly and stuff from that point on, and then we started doing events, which is awesome. Through the
Yeah.
years and stuff. So, what got you into all this?
Oh my gosh, Anthony, what got me into all of this? Well, I've always been interested. And as a medium, I did not have experiences as a kid. I didn't, have any fears. I didn't have people in my room. I didn't have some of those experiences a lot of mediums have, or even psychics can have. But I always was interested. I always watch, all the ghost adventure shows. I was always like, wow, wouldn't it be crazy if this was real? Like, wouldn't it be crazy? Wouldn't this be, wild that there actually is, something beyond? There is actually the unseen from what we can see. So I was always super curious and never really thought it was, me. And then it wasn't until I was staying at my ex's house in Manchester, New Hampshire. This would have been, gosh, back when I was in college. This probably was in my early 20s. It wasn't until I was staying at his parents' house, and it's the second oldest house in Manchester, New Hampshire, which,
Wow.
which Manchester, New Hampshire is not the capital, but it's the biggest city in New Hampshire, which is, it's not that big. It's New Hampshire, right? But it's still the biggest city in New Hampshire. And it's the second oldest house. The oldest house is like 4 houses down. So it's a very old area. And it wasn't until I stayed there that I started having like direct experiences. I would have night terrors at night,
Oh, really?
literally feeling like I was getting dragged off the bed. I mean, no joke. Where I was trying to scream, couldn't scream. Like, people talk about this, like they feel the weight on their chest, or like
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they can't move. They're and so I've never had that experience before that, and I've never had that experience since anywhere I've
Wow.
ever stayed. Not even at the Shanley. I didn't even have that experience. And again, I started just having like very anxiety about being in this house. One night I was staying in the back of the house, which was where the help stayed, more in the back. And I heard footsteps, clear as day, walk into the bedroom. I mean, no joke, clear as day. It was pitch black. I thought my ex had walked into the room. I said his name and nobody answered. And like, I wasn't scared. I was just kind of like, no, I definitely heard footsteps. I was more curious. I was more like, what? No, I know what I heard. And then he came in maybe like 20 minutes later and I was like, oh, did you just walk in and stand at the foot of the bed? And he was like, no, why would I do that? And I was like, oh, this is real. This is happening. This is real. So I started having more experiences at that house to the degree that I actually refused to stay at the house at night. It was like too much. I couldn't sleep. And then the family, slowly started telling me some things that they had experienced in the house. And anyway, so the house had a history of being an inn for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, I don't really know much of the history of the house. But so that was like my first real paranormal experience where I knew it was real. When you have that moment, when you have that experience, you can watch it on TV, you can hear people's stories, you can read it in a book, but until something directly happens to you, it can be hard to really, take it in, to digest it and really, know it's real. But so after that, I went to vet school. I'm a veterinarian. That's my 9 to 5. And I didn't really have much experiences. It wasn't until I moved back to New Jersey, Anthony, that I started having experiences out in the woods, out at locations, out in buildings, historical buildings. I was having all of these experiences in these historic buildings. And that, triggered my curiosity, right? So I was like, okay, something's happening, something's real. But as a science person, I had to prove it to myself. So I started going back to the history books. I started going back, talking to the people, voicing what I was seeing, saying, hey, I'm seeing this. I remember one time I was looking at a wedding venue and we were in the basement. And this is actually the Bernard's, I think it's Bernard's Inn in Bernardsville, New Jersey. Love it. It's a wonderful hotel and a beautiful wedding venue. And we were in the basement and I said, I'm seeing men like in jail. Like, why am I seeing men in jail down here? I'm seeing 3 men and they're like, they just gave me the impression they were in jail. And she said, and I said this to her, and she said, oh, well, this used to be the jailhouse. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. So like little things like that, I would, say and get feedback. And I was like, no, this is real. So I started taking it more seriously, doing a lot of courses, classes, really honing in, really developing it. And that's kind of brought me to here, really, of doing demonstrations and helping people out in their homes and stuff.
That's awesome. I would say, do you feel that the first experience you had was in a historic type of place, second oldest building?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that's what opened you up to more historical type of hauntings in locations than I mean, a medium and a psychic, they could still do pretty much the same, but each one has their own abilities to do more with certain aspects of, some could read, some could, tell the future or the past, whatever they're going to do.
Yeah.
Do you feel that opened you up more to the history because of the building type of thing?
Anthony, I've actually never put that 2 and 2 together, but I think you're right on it. I think that is my sensitivity to that kind of stuff in the first place. And because I was in that environment, I was already like primed and more sensitive to that to begin with, versus, kids growing up, have a lot of family members coming to them and things like that. I really never had those experiences. You're right. It really wasn't until I was in an old historic place that I started getting messages, having sensations, and having experiences. And yeah, that's kind of continued. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Because you
Yeah.
don't know what was there. Maybe something in the past, somebody that was into like psychic work and stuff, and you came along and they knew you had some sort of ability, but you didn't wake up to it yet, and maybe they extended their stuff onto you. I don't know how that works, but
Yeah, no, I really hadn't been to any psychics. I hadn't had any mediumship readings. I really wasn't doing that other than watching the Ghost Adventures and like being obsessed with that. And Dead Files. Love Dead Files too.
Dead Files, yeah. Amy just left the show too.
I know, but Cindy Kaza. So I've actually taken some courses with her because she does paranormal mediumship. So I've done some courses with her, and also her mentor is my mentor as well. So she like our teacher is we share the same teacher.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he actually recommended me to reach out to Cindy to see if she's offering any paranormal classes because he knew that I was into that. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's like weird because it is, what we have is it is a small community. Paranormal is a small community. Some people, I could look how many people we met. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and when I first got into it, I never thought I'd be doing any of the stuff I'm doing now with this. Back then I couldn't talk about it, but now I'm talking to everybody. Look, we're on the internet, and anybody can watch this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like
and you're doing your art now, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm starting. I mean, matter of fact, the reason I put that up there because I'm going to be at the Mass Paracon tomorrow in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I have a table there. Yeah, so I got all my pitch together. I'm going to go there, and I put my equipment out, and I put my the pitches out. People seem to like more the equipment and more the pitches and the equipment because each one of my pitches have a story. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
and
honestly,
thank you, Richard,
you
for that.
capture the story so well in the images because they're curious. People are curious. Like, what does it look like? Like when you see it, what does it look like? And you capture what it looks like really well. And that kind of it is a little unusual how sometimes it appears to us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it too. I think that's what people are more curious because, I mean, if you get it on film, you you see it, all right, but to a psychic or to somebody sensitive or somebody just, they want to see how we see it.
Right.
And like Richard, he sees anything. He does readings and he draws. He draws whoever he's talking to of the spiritual world in a reading, which I thought that's really cool. That's why he's the one to talk me. He's the one to talk me into showing my stuff. I mean, I got 40 somewhat years worth of stuff here, to show. So very interesting.
Yeah, it's really great.
But out of all the locations that you've done, which one is the most the most satisfying to you that gave you some sort of exposure or something, or help somebody else out or whatever?
Yeah. So I would say almost every location that I go to is meaningful because I have a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is me going to just various locations, basically doing a walkthrough, blind reading, just going there. I don't know anything. And then there's a subsequent history video, which God bless anybody who actually watches the whole thing of the history video, but it's available if you want to. That goes back into the history books and looks at, can I find that person that I was talking about, who I was speaking with, or who came forward? Can I find that event in the history books? And I basically find those events that come forward, those individuals that come forward in any aspect of it. And I just display that in a video. Anyway, so each one of them has been very surprising because there's always something that arises where they'll say something and I'm like, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's real. I don't think that's right. That's not how like the stories are told. The stories are told X, Y, and Z, the rumors that get spread and told down. And then, you go back into the history books and it's like, no, that wasn't right. Like this child didn't, pass here, or weren't living here at the time of that event. So it's interesting. Some of the places where I feel called to read almost have something that they want to correct or something that they want to speak about, like about the location that needs to be kind of righted.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me in a lot of different, I know you understand, Anthony, because we've done a location where I do think has called to you for a while that needed to be righted. So, but I would say, so one of the locations I read, it's a gorge area in Bhutan. And it's a very dangerous area. And it used to be a place where people will go swimming or fishing. And many people have lost their lives there, actually, because it is, a waterway and it's very dangerous. And so when I was doing the reading, I had a young boy come forward. And, it was a whole situation. And I was like, communicating. And he said there needs to be better barriers. And it's true. I mean, there does need to be better barriers. It was like a very flimsy kind of thing on half of it. But he was telling me this, and it was like a little urgent, but he was like, there needs to be better barriers. Well, 2 months after I did that reading, a young boy drowned in that area. Yeah. And so again, like I was drawn to do that reading there, to have that communication. I don't know, how that happens in the ethers, if like they knew that something was going to happen, or if they were trying to get something to prevent something. I don't know. But that was kind of remarkable. But like I said, every location kind of has something that wants to bring forward. But I would say one of my most favorite locations, I went to Fairfield, Connecticut. And the reason why I went to Fairfield, Connecticut is because I traced my ancestry, my paternal ancestry, all the way back to the 1600s to the 1692 Fairfield witch trials. And there was a witch trial there, which is not really publicized. It was the same year of the Salem witch trials, but there was a witch trial in Fairfield, Connecticut as well. At the time, my relatives were there, and one of my relatives accused one of the women.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was like, yeah. So I was like, I have to go here. I have to go here. And I need to be here. I need to read this. So that was really satisfying, going back to a place where like my ancestors who have been in the United States since, I mean, my ancestors have seen every single war, they've been here since 16, I think I trace it to like 1640s. Like one of the first coming over on the ships, right? So that was really fun.
You landed
that
in the Mayflower.
Almost. I couldn't believe it when I found that out. I thought, maybe they came over and like, Ellis Island, which I did have relatives come over in Ellis Island too, but I thought they all came over. And I kept going back and back and back. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I met with the historians at Fairfield, Connecticut, and I did my own research there and stuff. And it was very interesting. That was a really very meaningful reading.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's very. All you're reading. How about the worst? That
Worst?
More, like very emotional for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If you don't talk about it's fine. I understand that.
Yeah, no, I would probably say the most emotional was the Bhutan Gorge. Yeah, that one was most emotional. I even like delayed putting the video up because I didn't want to put the video up around the time. Yeah. And it was really emotional. It got a lot of views for a while, and I didn't mean to. I didn't do it because of that. I didn't do it to like make a ruckus, but I would say that was very emotional. Every place has a story, right? Like every place has a story.
Yeah.
Every person has a story. And what's so interesting about the United States, because I've also read places in Europe and Southeast Asia and stuff like that, and it's very different all over the world. But the United States hasn't had a lot of history comparatively. Like, it's mostly very recent, other than Native American. So some of these places you go and there's a lot of Native American energy still present. Because that wasn't, really wasn't too far into the history of these places.
Yeah, I remember when we did that one thing out down by the beach. I'm not going to tell you everybody what it's about, but I remember you doing a reading, and we were looking for more than mine stuff. And you're going back and and you asking me, was there, what do you call it? There was like a little island outside it, and you were asking if there was a tribe of Native Americans there, and the Native American. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's possible, and you went back even further, because we're talking about maybe the 80s that we wanted to go to, and you're like going back to like the beginning of time. I'm surprised you didn't find any dinosaurs.
Oh, I have found, Anthony, you don't know this story? So at the Shanley, when I was outside reading the location, which there's a lot of energy in that valley, which is one of the reasons why that valley has a lot of paranormal stuff. Because it has, anyway, I'm not going to get into that for you, but
there's a lot of limestone down there.
But and the shape of it too. The shape, because it's a valley, so the energy can't flow out, and so it can kind of stay stagnant there, and it holds the memory a little bit longer.
We got some time.
That's true. We do have a while, huh?
Well,
anyway, so
I'm almost done with my question. I mean, it's not even 8:00 yet.
Oh gosh, we'll have to play games after this. So I was at the Shanley and I'm reading it outside, and I'm like, oh, there's mastodon oh my gosh, that's not how I say it. Mastodon bones here. They found mastodon bones. And I was like, all right, well, I guess, we'll have to look back into the history and see if they did. And yeah, actually they did. It was like 0.6 miles from where we were. They actually found mastodon bones. But yeah, really? So yes. Yeah. Yeah,
caveman.
You never know.
Yeah, hey, never know. That's awesome. Getting dinosaurs now. They found Dino, the dinosaur from Flintstones. You gotta find Fred now.
I haven't gone back to the dinosaurs yet, but
you gotta find them all. Yeah. that place there.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's a place. I mean, that's one place we always go. We always get something. It's always cool, and I can't talk enough about that place, And so it's an awesome place, So I mean,
yeah.
So that's nice, but how's your job? Do you, anything with what you do relate to any of the the psychic abilities of someone? Does it help you, or your job related? Because I know as a construction worker, being an electrician, I always could pinpoint, whereas they say, oh, there's EMFs here. It's like, no, come on. And it's not a panel that's not correctly grounded, or there's something that's wrong. I mean, and fans, electric fans. People like all the time find that, oh, it's EMF here. Oh, there must be power. There must be ghost. No. Okay, it might enhance the ghost to manifest because of the electric charge in the air. But because there's electric charge in the air, doesn't mean there's a ghost. You know, you got to try to find
Right.
a location, you know, stuff, you know, in the building. I mean, could be something coming from a wall or, you know, ceiling fans. I could be on the second floor and you have a ceiling fan on the first floor. I'm walking chest level with my meter. I'm going to pick up that ceiling fan from the first floor. You know, people don't realize these things, and everything's a ghost. Everything's a ghost, you know? So being construction worker, I always look at things like, no. With your job that, you know, you're a veterinarian, is anything that might come over that, you know, that helps you with your, what, you know, debunking something, or, you know, do you understand the question? Or I'm just,
Yeah, that's great.
well,
So
I like your
I
earring.
agree. Not.
I like those little ghosts.
Oh yeah, they're ghosts. Isn't
Yeah,
that fun?
I noticed that before. But I got a chance to mention it now. It's like a little ghost series. I like that.
We're entering into October, so ghost, anything goes. Anything ghosts,
I'm gonna have to
witches,
get a hanging
cats.
one.
You know.
I'm gonna have to get a hanging one for next investigation. We'll go as
There you
the
go.
same earrings.
Yeah, you gotta get some beads on it, Anthony. You gotta get some beads.
Okay, why not? I used to wear a feather back years ago when my hair. When I
I
had
have
hair,
other ones. Yeah.
I had feather. My hair was always fluffy and came down, and the feather earring just like went right into my hair. So it was like a different color.
Yeah, there
but
you
it was
go.
like, you know, that's back in the 70s. So
Well, I got some feather earrings too. I could let you borrow, Anthony.
yeah, I don't think they'll be too good right now. They don't go into anything. You know, it's not much hair. Got a little bit, but you know. But maybe get one big feather across the top here. I could wear like a toupee. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes,
We'll try it out.
we'll give it a shot. Why not? So, did I just ruin the answer the question? Or?
Okay, so yeah, the sensitivity with the job, but so yes, I agree that not every EMF is a spirit, and you definitely need to kind of like debunk yourself if you are seeing EMFs on a meter. I have done a house reading before where a family was having experiences, and we walked into the house and the whole house was lighting up with EMFs up to 50, 40, 50, 60. Yeah,
really?
in bedrooms. Yes.
Was that point 50 or was that before? Or was that 50 point? Really?
50 point.
That's voltage down.
But the reason
that's bad.
Yeah, not good, exactly. And they were obviously having experiences. It was a cell phone tower that was by their house. It was very close to their house. And so we explained to them that high EMFs can make you feel not well. Like it can make you feel like anxious. It can make you feel sick. It can make you feel like you're seeing things. And there are published papers about this with different levels of EMFs that people have reported having side effects. So that was actually a really great, we came in there, thinking that we were going to be debunking, and not to say that there was definitely evidence that there was spirit in the house. And I definitely did see spirit and stuff, but because of those EMFs, it can also kind of like enhance your experience of it. And it can also enhance spirit too. So it can be a little bit more energy available for them too.
It gives them the energy to manifest. It gives it energy to manifest.
Right. Exactly.
Can you hear me? This thing on?
Yeah. I gotcha. I gotcha.
Boy.
Maybe it's my volume.
Boy. No.
And we're back.
But the whole thing is also with the high EMFs, with the towers. Those towers are so close to these houses and electric towers, and so they also cause cancer. It's known to cause cancer.
Well, I don't know about that, but I hear that is a possibility. Yeah. I haven't looked into the papers, but
yeah. Well,
it is a lot of energy. It's a lot of wavelengths, a lot of frequency, a lot of energy, and it pulses too. So Yeah,
wave.
I can't imagine it's good.
Yeah, when electric goes, because you got AC and then you got DC. AC is alternate current, and that it goes up and down the spectrum, like up and down. There's a line, flat line, it goes up and down line. Now DC goes straight across the line. DC is very dangerous because DC kills. That's you touch DC like with train tracks or something like that, you're gone. Okay, alternate current you can get electrocuted, which I got hit a couple times on the job. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Maybe go blind and blew out my neck, the two discs in my neck. Yeah, I got screwed up really bad, and it's still affecting me.
Do you think that affected your ability? Do you think getting electrocuted did anything with that?
Not really, because I had the abilities before. I did see things before. That happened in 2004. I was on a job in Broadway, the Fox building, the Fox News building, and some idiot didn't cap off wires that were live. And I was in the ceiling. I was about 15, 20 feet in the ceiling, and I had to go between the ductwork and the sprinkler system to wire these. It's a motor for if there's a fire, the motor shuts. So through the ductwork, it's a ductwork, a motor on the ductwork. So what happens is when the fire goes, it closes these doors so the smoke doesn't go beyond that point. It's a safety thing. Yeah. So I was up there wiring this thing, and I was going up to check in and get into place as I pushed myself in, and there's a box hanging down with 277 voltage in it, and it touched me here. Somebody didn't cap it off. Touched me here.
I don't know, Anthony. That's very interesting that it got you right on your crown point.
No,
which is your connection. Was right here.
My third eye. Yeah. By my third eye.
Your third eye is here.
But this is right here, but I guess right here. See,
okay.
Well, you go back here. I got bulbs right here. Let me draw it in.
Well, I'm just saying it's very interesting that it got you right in that area.
Right here. And what happened is when I'm like that, my face, for some reason, went forward, and it grounded my nose. And blood burst out my face, and I came loose out of it because 277 kills you. And I came down the ladder, the thing, and I was like I was drunk. They actually took me to the hospital, and they keep you on 24 hours, and they check your throat and your ankles, because what happens is when you get hit with that kind of voltage, it burns you.
Yeah.
But it didn't get to the rest of my body; it just went through my head and grounded through my nose. So that's. I mean, maybe it did enhance some of the stuff, but I don't know. No, I don't think. But I ended up going blind in my left eye because of it. And I got herniated disc in my neck.
Wow.
Yeah, because it blew out the disc in my neck and everything too. I did have a little bald spot here, but the bald spot just grew. So now it's a big bald spot. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's wild, Anthony.
So that's the life of an electrician. Terrible. It's not what you do wrong. It's the idiot that did it wrong before you got there. And they're the ones.
And you don't know until you're there. Yeah.
And then most of what I was working on, the power was shut down. It was safety and everything. Everything was off. But what was up there that should have been locked off and already pushed in and finished, somebody just left wires hanging down, exposed wires. That's what caught me. I didn't know that. I wasn't working on that. And that should have never been like that. It should have been pushed away and finished, capped off. And
that's terrible.
Yeah.
Scary.
I'm still suffering. I still got some injuries from that. Like I said, I went blind in my neck, and some of my memory was shot. I was always like this. Yeah, kind of was.
Yeah, my memory too is terrible. I don't know. I don't have an excuse. I'm just a lot going on.
But get back to what I was asking. Does your job have anything? I know because you're a veterinarian too. Do
Yes.
you see a lot of spirits, animal spirits? Because I know
Yeah,
I do.
I do. Yeah, I
I
do.
see a couple on different locations, dogs, cats, and stuff like that. But and
Yeah.
deer on the side of the road, you're driving where deer. Sometimes I can see them coming out, and then
Oh, whoa.
you're not there. Yeah.
Yeah, I do actually see animals at locations. Um, and animals will come forward in readings too. I'll have cats come forward, dogs. I actually recently did a location reading um, for a historical location, and it was owned by somebody. That it's a house, but somebody lives in the house. And
Mm-hmm.
I was out back, and this cat came forward. This cat, a long coat, very friendly, like a bigger cat, male cat, and just was, just hanging around us, and is a spirit cat. And so at the end of the reading, we were there for the historical reasons. But I said to the homeowner, I said, have you lost a cat recently? And he said, yes. And I said, is it a long-haired male cat? And he said, yes. And I said, oh, I just want to let you know, when we were out back, he's very friendly, came forward. He's like, yeah, he was very friendly. Would always go in between your legs and stuff. And I said, well, he's still around, protecting the place and stuff. And I saw him in the backyard, and he said, we buried him in the backyard. So that's where he was back there. Yeah. So yeah, animals do come forward. They like to protect their family. I know a lot of people who have had dogs who have passed say that they can still feel them like brush up against their leg, or they'll like still kind of maybe hear a bark or something in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Because just because they're not here, they've still, soul committed to you. They're still soul
Mm-hmm.
connected, just like family is still soul connected to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's they're a part of you. So yeah, animals do come forward. But as far as like in my work, I try and keep it pretty separate, um, just because it's hard to explain to people um, some of the things that may come forward.
Mm-hmm.
Or I will get information about what's going on with the animal, um, and
Interesting.
it's hard. It can be hard to translate that
Mm-hmm.
into like science, and like, oh, let's do this blood test. And they're like, why? And I'm like, it just doesn't work. You can't just be like, I just have a feeling. And then people are like, well, I'm not going to do that on a feeling.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No. Of
so
course.
I try and keep it pretty separate,
Mm-hmm.
but I let the sensitivity
Yeah.
um, still be there, because the animals are very sensitive. So, and they all can feel a sensitive individual, or somebody who means well. So I still allow that sensitivity to be
Mm-hmm.
there for them, but I try not to like mix it with a reading.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Of course. I mean, some
Mhm.
like uh, many times I'm on the job and stuff, and I told one person that what I do, could go. I think I forgot I was going on an investigation that weekend. He asked me what I was doing, so I told him. Next thing, I was working at the Javits Center at that time. Next thing I know, electrician comes up to me. You a Ghostbuster? You a Ghostbuster? And then they started calling me, yeah, um, Ghost Guy Tony and the real
Ghost Guy Tony. That's
Ghostbuster.
good. I kind of like that, Ghost
Ghost
Guy
Guy
Tony.
Tony. They used to call me Ghost Guy Tony, or and before you know it, I had a bunch of people, and I have people, of course, saying, "Oh, why do you do that for?" But then you have a lot of people like answer. And the only person that gave me the hardest time about it, like, "Why do you do that?" They always came up to you later on with the best story. Oh, my grandmother came to me.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
they always always had the best stories. Always trying to act big in front of the other guys. So you know, I mean, I try to keep it, but I got to a point like I didn't care. Then they moved me down to where the towers were, and I was putting up Tower
Mhm.
4. We were putting back Tower 4, and then working on Tower 3, and then I was working with the underground, all the underground there with the security and stuff,
Whoa.
and because we had to wire everything they put all kinds of new equipment down there, all kinds. You can't get down underneath that building. You know, they got tractor trailers that they X-ray. You guys see these things, 40-foot trailer. They drive the truck in, they leave the truck, and then they X-ray the whole truck. It's like a big. It's like one of those big.
Like a CT, like a big CT kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
So yeah, it's interesting how of course we wired that all stuff, but down there they were coming to stories, and they found out down there, and down there had the best stories because everybody's seeing stuff down there. You know, engineers, especially
I'm sure.
they would track me down there just to tell me stories. Just to tell me stories.
I'm sure.
They seen the night before. They just wanted to get it off their chest because they didn't want to tell nobody else because they felt people were going to say things to them. Here she comes. Yeah. She's checking in.
Hey, Maureen.
I can't hear anything. I'm sorry. I'm just here for 1 second.
1 second. Great. She's checking on me. Make sure I'm good. You okay?
Well, I love that, Anthony, because tunnels and underground, I also believe hold that energy a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe tunnels, you can have more experience in those kinds of places. Caves, tunnels, mines are another great place where there's a lot of activity. Yeah, because there's something about holding it, like it stays there. It's not moving. It's like stagnant, and that residual memory can just
stays.
Be there more in its like pure form, kind of.
Mm-hmm. They always say like on hauntings, like like locations that have activities and stuff, and they always find out like the rooms that are most cluttered. The attic, the basement, or even a room that's cluttered. That's where a lot of these spirits stay.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel that the spirits go there to hide, or not. Just to get away from the activity of everybody. Oh, we lost.
Yeah, no, I've definitely experienced that. The same thing is they're not. Most of them are not really trying to interact with the living 24/7. They're just. Mm-hmm. It's like their energy is crossing paths. And yeah, I agree. They definitely try and be in places that are less active. But I wanted to ask you, Anthony, so it's interesting that you're an electrician, and so you've learned all about energy, right? So you know all the physics about energy. So
I know a lot of it, but all of it.
Yeah. Well, okay. But do you think that's like, you were drawn to that kind of work because now, I mean, like on the paranormal side, almost all of what we do is working with energy. All of our tools are detecting different kinds of energies, even the lasers, even our voice boxes, even, Ron and Lourdes's Staticom. I mean, that's working with frequencies.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's like a correlation that you were like always interested in that or drawn to it?
I was always interested in electricity, and how I was the kind of kid that used to take apart the radios, and my mother used to hate it. I used to take apart the telephone because you screw up the thing, and sometimes I break the wire and stuff. She'd be on the phone, hello, and they don't hear her, and they're yelling at her, and she'd be like, Anthony, what'd you do now? I was always drawn to electricity in some sort of form. Like I said, I took apart radios and what was it? In '87 is when I got into the electrical field. Local 3. I'm a union member, and we. And I got back in 87, I get, yeah. When I was a foreman in a place that we actually built light fixtures and stuff like that. And then I got along and, I became the electrician and everything. But I was always interested in in that. I seem to understand when it comes to electrical, and they could give me a piece of like a schematic, and I could figure it out. Where other guys are like, "What's going on?" I figured out wiring and all that stuff. So, like I said, I was always drawn to that. And maybe it is, and now is being an electrician does help me in this field with the paranormal. Yes, because I could go in places and see, but I understand it, especially energy. When people
Right.
talk about energy, oh, energy. You got a current of water going through a wire, and that wire is chipped. Just the insulation is a little rubbed off. You touch that with your finger, what happens? You get shocked because that energy found another route to your finger.
Mm-hmm.
It's energy's always going to find a route to go, and energy's going to be forever. It's just going to be there.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right. Right.
So that's made me understand more about energy. And when I got into this, and because when I got into it, I didn't know about energy. I knew about dowsing rods and everything else. Back in the 70s, you know, the dowsing rods, and then you got the compass, and I had nobody to talk to about it because everybody thought I was crazy when I was talking about it. So, like I said, it does make me understand how energy nowadays goes. And with the power, with the EMFs and some of the boxes that we got, and I won't get certain things. I look at them like that doesn't make sense. Or you could run to Home Depot and buy the same thing for half the price. Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever. It's a hardware store, because they put extra whistles and bells on it. It does the same thing as what I could do on the job, with things I had on the job, testing other things, testing things. Because most of
Yeah.
our equipment was originally made for construction, not paranormal.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
right. Right. Exactly. So it's just interesting that from that world, then now you're using all of those very similar tools
Mm-hmm.
to find our ghosties, our ghost friends,
Our ghosties.
our
Our
ghosties.
ghosties. You're my ghostie.
I know they're so silly sometimes. So so in your thoughts, how do you feel energetically wise that spirits are? Like, what do you think that spirits are?
What I think they are, the ones that wander, I think they're some sort of electrical. Um, you know, they say there's different things, and I think there's something more electrical, like the pulses and everything, electricity wise, more
Yeah.
than you know. Everybody has their what they think it is, but I think it's more like when they say when people use the word energy, it was energy came back as a shadow. Energy is not a shadow. Energy can form into something, but I mean, that shadow could be some kind of electrical charge too.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So I have I also have a blog too where I talk a lot about different energies and different like land energies, and I have this whole blog series about why cameras can pick up spirits better than we can, because why are we using all of these cameras, these tools, like just even regular like iPhone cameras sometimes are
Yeah.
catching things that aren't with our eyes. So I did this whole research about why is that, and one of the reasons is because I agree that these are made up of some form of energy that our eyes are just not able to really see all that. Sometimes we can see them when
Yeah.
it forms in a certain way as like an apparition, but
They let them
or a
stuff be
shadow.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But our cameras and our phones also have infrared. They also have a wider spectrum of what they're able to capture, even though it's their lens is different than our lens, and
Yeah,
those
their lights are
tools are
much
actually
better.
able. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So and then I also in my home musings in my mind of like, how is this working, how is this possible, what we're experiencing, is shadows. So I also was thinking that like sometimes shadow figures are not necessarily an expression of energy, but they can also be inverse, which is why they kind of form a shadow or they form cold. So there's entropy and there's I'm not going to get the word right. Anyway, so there's things that give off energy and there's things that take energy. So when you freeze water, it takes the energy and it becomes ice, right? And well, actually, I think it loses the energy and becomes ice. Anyway, I'm kind of confusing myself a little bit. It's physics. And then when you warm it up, it takes in the energy and it melts. So these cold sensations that sometimes we feel and these shadows, I almost think are like the inverse of energy output. I think they're actually maybe taking in energy from around them. And therefore, it's like leaving almost like a blank area or like a colder area. That's something else that I was musing through one of my blogs one day, you know, on a weekend, just writing about the paranormal.
Yeah. Well, that's why rooms, like when the spirit, they say if spirit's trying to manifest in a room, why do you think that is? And why do you think that room gets cold?
Right.
It's taking all the energy out of the air, the surrounding air. So that air could be a certain temperature, but now they're taking all that energy out of it, so the other room gets colder. So that's they manifesting because they're stealing the energy out of the air. You know what's around you. So that's why rooms get cold when spirits manifest, more or less.
Yeah.
You know, so that's.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
you know, there's a lot to do. I mean, I come across a lot. I don't know everything. And I'll never claim to be everything and know everything. Like a lot of people out there, I'll give you the advice and like, yeah, this is the way it is. No, it's not. That's the way you want it to be. Okay? Everybody has their own theories, and theories are like buttholes. Everybody has one. You know what I mean? Everybody has a theory.
Yeah.
But what works for you works for you. You know, that's how I look at it. Okay? The way I do things is the way you see how I investigate. I go in, I stay calm the whole time, and I do my thing. Something happens, I stay calm. I'm not, I stay calm, and I do what we got to do. And that's the best way to be, you know? I get to go in positive, you come out positive. You know, you get more energy that way.
Yeah.
More evidence that way. You know?
Yeah. And it's so funny because people always ask me, like, oh, aren't you scared? And I'm like, I don't think I've really been, I mean, maybe startled, like something falls and it's startling. But I don't go in scared. You know, it's also not very good to go into some of these places scared. It's much better to go in exactly like you said, with good high energy and very strong boundaries. But no, I can't really say that I've actually been like afraid on these. I'm more just curious. And the more locations I go to and the more kind of my understanding is growing of like what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, what I'm hearing, what they're saying. I mean, they're people, most of them. I mean, I do believe that there are thought forms that can be a whole separate thing, but they're people. They're people who have lived lives in that place, and like that's it.
You know, it's the. I mean, when it comes to anything paranormal, I've been to locations that you go in there and sometimes you do get scared. I admit I get scared, but I never show it. I never show if I'm scared or nervous or anything. I stay. I stay my poker face the whole time.
The poker face.
And something happens, I don't run out. I go towards. I mean,
wow.
I always run in. I was always the first in, the last out. And every time there was always something going on, I was always there. And when something happens, I mean, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. We went there, and I got it on video. One day I'll show it to the audience. But I walking into a location, and all you got is that little 2-inch night vision screen. That's all you got. And I have my hand on the wall to walk straight because I have no idea. When you can't see, you know if you're walking straight, you don't know which way you're walking. So I actually have to put my hand on the wall to get myself some sort of, to know what direction I'm going. I'm going straight.
Sure. Yeah.
Of course, you walk into things and you break your ankles or your shins half the time, But I was walking to this location. It was just on the little screen. And as I'm walking, I pass this doorway and I'm like, oh, there's something in here. I go, As I'm walking past, all of a sudden I hear a big boom. I got it on video. Big crash. So I don't know if they were trying to startle me. I said, "You trying to get my attention? You got it." And then I went back around and I went back to that door.
Wow.
I don't know what. I'm thinking about in the back of my head. I'm thinking about this thing could move this big bolt or whatever. It crashed. Don't you think it could, I'm in the dark now. What can it do to me? But I didn't show any fear or anything. You can't because that's what they're looking for. They want you to take advantage.
Yeah, some of them do. Yes, some of them do.
So it's okay to go in if you have some kind of fear, but don't show it and just go in, and don't run out.
Yeah, I probably would have been pretty startled. I probably would have screamed if that. I don't know if I would have. I mean, I probably would have been scared if I heard that, but I don't know if I would have been scared of the spirit. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, that's scary to have, even if a person did it right next to you, just threw something like that's intense.
And you can hear how loud it was too.
I believe you. It probably was so. Yeah. Well, insane asylums are interesting places. If it's your first investigation, I don't recommend an asylum.
No.
Or a hospital, an old hospital. Go someplace else.
I mean, these people, a lot of people just go on the tours. That's fine.
Sure.
But they don't realize, like, when we go on an investigation, we don't go on the tours. We actually are the ones that rent out the whole location. So it's just us. No contamination. There's just us. So when you got a location, you're going in just your little group. And usually, 6, 7 people maybe you're going in with. And then when you break into groups, you go like 3 people in locations to do investigation because you don't want too many because sometimes spirit doesn't want to come to a group of people or come to less, so you go like 3 people, 2 people, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, 3 is good. Yeah.
So so when we go to location, we rent out the whole thing. These tours are good too. They get you to locations. I went to West Virginia. We went on a tour with West Virginia Penitentiary. Penitentiary, the jail, Mountsville.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. I've been there twice. Now we're going to try to get that. See if we can get the whole thing, because we got enough people now to do it.
That'd be awesome.
I was just invited to. Hopefully, I could do it in August. Ohio. What was that? In Ohio, the reformatory. Ohio Reformatory.
Oh.
Yeah.
In August? Yeah. Oh, that'd be so awesome.
So that'd be awesome if we could get that. Somebody invited me from North Carolina. So I'm trying to work that in. That'd
be great. Wow.
Yeah. August of next year. It's like
people
already set up the investment in January, February, August. So I'm getting invitations for everything right now. So that's pretty cool that people actually keep me in mind for these things. I like that. Like you and Rich.
Of course, Anthony, you got all the goods. And now you're also drawing things too. Drawing spirits. It's great. Yeah. I love, one of the things I love about the groups that we work with is we do combine the two. And I think for a while in the paranormal community, it was really poo-pooed to even think about having a medium or a psychic in. It was,
Mhm.
it was tools, it was this, it was evidence, it was tools, it was, the all of that. And then I think it's good to have both. I mean, I love it when I pick up a name and then the next room over a device gets that name. I mean, that's just double evidence. You know what I mean? When you can
Mhm.
stack that evidence on top of one another, I mean, how great is that? That's even better. I mean, I think both are very valid. And I mean, I use tools.
Mhm.
It's not just my mediumship. I like to use tools. I do use an EMF. Okay. I do use an EMF, but because I'll tend to get sensations on my body a lot. And then
Mhm.
I'll confirm the sensations with my EMF, and on often it will correlate.
Yeah.
But I have had orbs 2 times, 2 different readings that I've done during the day. I also don't believe you have to do places at night. You can do them any time of the day.
Spirits all over. Yeah. It's
They're
not that
they
time
don't
of
like
day.
go to they
It's
don't
like,
like wake up
shut
at
the lights off.
dusk.
We're here. No, they're there. You
They're
know,
there.
they're there.
But I have caught twice in 2 different readings an orb coming to me
Mhm.
on camera, and I don't see it. My husband doesn't see it because he videos these.
Mhm.
But immediately after, I get a pain. You'll see me on camera. I get like, I feel something, and it's immediately after that white orb. It's 2 white orbs. I don't know why they come in white, but 2 different times that's happened during the day. You don't need to have it at night. It doesn't need to be a fancy. It was an iPhone caught it. Outside, where you can think of all kinds of different contamination
Yeah.
possibilities. But yeah,
When
really
we
cool.
react to it, that's different. Yeah, the reason they're white's because that's energy. That's energy balls.
Yeah,
Orbs are
yeah.
energy balls.
Well,
So
right.
I'm
Yes.
sure,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Energy doesn't really have a color. And actually, white and black are not colors.
Yeah. White is all the colors, and black
Yeah,
is everything without color. Yeah.
yeah. So they're not
Hmm.
really colors. They well, like white and black, but
Yeah.
it really there's not really colors. You don't see them on the
Yeah.
rainbow. You know, you don't see neither one on the rainbow.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not
No, it
part of
is
the
a
spectrum.
good point.
So I would say energy that when you see like a white ball, I mean, I have people go, oh yeah, I got a blue orb, I got a green orb. I'm like, I never heard of those. Been this a long time. I did have one guy. This guy, he had a group in Queens, and I used to go along with him. He wanted me to be with him because um, nobody really liked him, and he wanted to have the group. And every investigation he threw, when I was on, people came. I actually started teaching classes at LaGuardia College for paranormal 101 and
Nice.
and 102 because of because
102.
this guy he was there, but he put me in to help him teach the classes, and I ended up teaching the class, and he just sat there going, reading a book. So we went to what was that, Clinton Road in Jersey.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know. Yeah, I've seen orbs there. I know exactly where you're talking about. Yeah.
So he's like, we were on the side of the road. We pulled over. That's before the cops chased us. The cops chase you all the time over there.
Yeah, yeah, they monitor that road pretty
So we pulled
intensely.
over.
Yep.
We're doing a couple things, and he shows me later on that he posts on their website these blue and yellow orbs, and I'm like looking at them. He goes, "Yeah, look, that orb is rectangle. That orb is square." I'm like, looking. I'm like, "No, they're not." I said, "That's reflectors for trails." Oh no, it's not. I said, "Yeah, they're trail reflectors." He's telling everybody they're orbs. I'm like,
What?
yeah, I said, listen, I think I had enough of you. I'm gone. I can't do this no more. I'm not going to go with
Yeah.
somebody that's trying to push everything to be paranormal or, I just can't do that.
Oh, well, I have seen orbs on Clinton Road because I
Mhm.
used to have, when I was doing ambulatory, I would have to drive up there all the bunch of times. I had some clients up there, and I have definitely seen orbs for sure. I literally thought they were people like walking in the woods. I
Mm.
was like, oh, because I knew it was Clinton Road, and I was like, oh, teenagers are out walking in the woods, and I'm like, I mean, maybe they were. Maybe they honestly were. I don't know, but I was like, why would teenagers be walking in the woods at like 10 o'clock at night? But I don't know. It's Clinton Road, and they do hang out there sometimes and get kicked out and chased out. So I don't know. It's possible.
Mm.
Orbs or teenagers. I don't know.
You don't know. Or the teenagers might have something reflective on them, on their jackets or on
Yeah.
their shoes or whatever.
I
But
don't know. They were
that
literally,
is
it
an
was
active road.
moving through the woods.
Actually, on that road, I had a truck with with a sunroof that opened up, and it was an old Mercedes truck. So it had this roof. I had my cameras on tripods for filming me driving down the road.
Wow,
And
that's cool.
that's supposed to, because they said that cars follow you and they disappear. And I did have that. You're going long strip,
Wow.
all of a sudden they're like, where are they? And you turn around, there's nobody around. There's nothing there. I had a pickup truck come up my butt, and I pulled over. He came right up my butt. I pulled over, but he didn't pass me. The truck was gone.
What?
Yeah,
On Clinton Road?
on Clinton Road. Yeah, came right up my
Wow.
butt.
Yeah.
And I'd seen him coming up so fast. I had the camera, so I couldn't go too fast. So I pulled over to let him by, and he said, and I'm like, where'd he go?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, like whole West Milford area.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on up there.
Well, that road. Remember, there was a hitman, the Iceman, they called him. He went for the
No.
mafia. He was a. I
Oh,
forgot.
yes.
They had a movie
No,
about
that's
him.
not. Yeah, that I don't think that was Clinton Road. That was actually by the reservoir.
Well, he dumped seven bodies on Clinton Road.
Oh, maybe he dumped them there and on the reservoir. That could
Yeah,
be.
seven bodies he dumped there. So that's why there's activity there. You know,
Oh yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and the reservoir in that area, Split Rock Reservoir, I've read that area a few once. Well, I purposely read that once, but yeah, there's a lot of activity there. Yeah, I never really realized how dangerous water was. Like waterways, very dangerous. A lot of things happen on water. I never really thought about it. But speaking of water, almost every location we go to, almost every place that we're called to go or help investigate or
Mhm.
anything like that, there's almost always water nearby. It's
Mhm.
almost always a river, lake, a pond. It's like it's uncanny. It's literally, I cannot think of a single place that I have not investigated. Okay, maybe one place without water being there.
Mhm. Yeah, water is conducted. What? What is
Right.
it conducted for energy?
And electricity.
Yeah, energy. Electricity is the same thing. It's energy.
Mhm.
Energy comes
Mhm.
through. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, any kind of water, especially if the water is moving and stuff like that. There's always from that motion of the movement of the water and stuff like that. Always
The
has
ions.
yeah, ions,
Mhm.
neutrons, and
And
all
negative
that.
ions. Yep.
Every ions, every ion.
That
So
water.
that's where the water comes from. Every ion. So so Yeah, so around water, you're always going to get some sort of activity, especially salt water. You got a lot of
Hmm.
salt water because salt water is more of a conductive to electricity than regular water.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And you'll get that in the particles too. Like, so like as the air evaporates, as the water evaporates, there will even be more charge into the air around salt
Hmm.
water, which is one of the reasons why it's so healing, but it's also why those areas can be like extra charged with paranormal too.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
And we're in New Jersey and we are bordered by the ocean.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And yeah,
In Jersey, the only people that call the beach the shore.
the shore. Yes, yes. I
The
didn't
only
know
thing.
that when I moved here, but I do know
Yeah.
that
The
now.
only thing. It's not the beach. It's the shore.
The
Yeah.
shore, down
Okay.
the shore.
Let's go down the shore. Let's go down the
Well,
shore.
in Massachusetts, we call it going down the Cape. You go down the Cape,
Oh.
down like Cape Cod.
Yeah. Well, in Queens, we say the beach.
The beach.
The beach. Down the
It's
beach.
simpler that way.
Highway beach. It's easier that way. Everything's a beach. You have sand on it, it's a beach.
Mm.
That's it. Everything is a beach. So that's what it is. So, um, out of the locations, I know you've been to quite a few. I mean, did you just go to the one with them at the Grim Mill, something like that?
Oh,
Richard,
the Cooper Grist Mill.
Cooper,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've read the location before. One of my original videos was actually at the Cooper Grist Mill. So I read that, gosh, 2019, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might have even been before pandemic. Um, and then I went with them to do the pre-read because I didn't get to go in the location, right? Because when I go to read these public places, I can't go
Yeah.
in them. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
reading outside of them.
I was supposed to be there, but I got sick. Got so mad.
What?
I was supposed to be with you guys that night, but I got sick. The pre-reading, the
Oh,
Richard again.
I was sick too, Anthony. I couldn't go.
Oh, maybe the mill.
Yeah.
Maybe the mill got it sick.
Yeah, I couldn't go. I got sick, so I had to sit that one out. But I was able to do the pre-read, and we go and like plan where we're gonna have everybody and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that for the public. So I was able to go with that with Ron and Lourdes and Full Moon Paranormal and with Rich. But yeah, I couldn't go to the investigation with the public because I was sick. I mean, I could have gone.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I couldn't go to the pre-reading. That's the first one I couldn't go to. I was sick. The second one I didn't go to because Giuseppe, his son, was getting married that night, so I went to the wedding.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's important.
Yeah, it was a good wedding, so we had a good time. Nice Italian
Oh,
wedding.
good.
A lot of food and everything. All you can eat. It was great.
Oh, very
Good
good.
wedding. Good wedding.
Very good.
So, um, does anybody in your family have any kind of abilities, or just you? Or they're just not
My,
saying?
it's an interesting question. So I never grew up with anybody that ever talked about it. Nobody ever spoke about mediumship, psychic, nothing. But I started being very vocal about it with my family. And my mom she goes, "Oh, I've been going to a psychic every year for the last 25 years." And I was like, "What? And you never told me?" She's like, "Yeah, and I have my own medium lady too." And I'm like, "What? You never talked about this ever?" So I was so mad because it could have been something we had done
Yeah.
not my whole life, I guess. I could have been going to her psychic. But
Yeah.
so my mom's very interested in it. She believes in it. She definitely has always believed in it. That's the Italian side of my family, which generally they do have do believe in that.
Yeah.
And I do think it comes from my maternal side. There is some thought that my grandmother, has the gift. My uncle has had experiences that he doesn't really like to talk about, but he's definitely had experience. He talks about them now, but he wouldn't talk about them before. He's like, oh, I've had experiences. I've had, things come to me and I've seen things and stuff like that. So I do believe it is on my maternal side where I've gotten the inclination.
Yeah. I think it was my mother's side also, with my abilities. The guy's side, I think that's the Italian way of doing experience it, but don't tell the kids. Hey, don't talk. Shh, be quiet.
Yeah, I guess. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy. My mother my mother just told me not to say anything, don't talk about it. And her and my grandmother experienced it, and they told me stories about going back into Sicily with my great grandmother and all this stuff. And I think the men had the abilities too, but the old Italian men, like, don't talk about nothing. And but I got to a point in my life, and I was like, not to say, then all of a sudden, I don't care. And I said I had problems, people, not wanting to be my friend, and people think I was into Satanism and all this other stuff, and crazy, really bad, really bad. So, but I overcame.
That's right, Anthony. And I'm your friend, and I know that you're not any of those things. So.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So, did you have any friends that believed in any of this stuff, or everybody? Or how about now? Did they? Do you talk about it in front of them, or you feel funny talking to them in front of it, or?
No, I mean, to be honest, Anthony, I think at this point it's so much a part of who I am that if I didn't really talk about it, it's like a part of my soul. It's like a part of who I am. It's almost to the same degree of how much, I mean, I love animals, right? I love animals, or else I wouldn't have chosen to fill my whole life with animals and choose it as a career. So, if I didn't talk about animals, or if it's just like a part of me, I love it. I love animals, and spirit communication and that kind of sensitivity is also a part of my life. So I do talk about it with my friends. Some of my friends were some of my first experiments when I was still kind of like working this out. I was like, hey, can I just, can I just do a reading or something, or like something would happen at a friend's house, and it would be on, and it would be spot on and stuff. So they all know. Some are more curious to know more about it than others. But I haven't, as far as I'm aware, I haven't lost any friends about it, or family. And or even my work knows. Again, it's hard for me not to talk about it. And I think almost everybody has had some kind of experience. And I also think that the younger generations are more sensitive, and they're having their own kind of experiences, and looking for people to kind of like help them through what they're experiencing. And so.
Yeah, I know. At the Paracons, I always have kids coming up to me and talking to me about things. I had one kid come up to me, must have been about 8 years old, tell me about how the spirit, how this spirit's coming out of the closet every night, although this man comes out of the closet every night. And I'm like, oh, and the mother was standing there, letting him talk to me about it. I mean, years ago, she would have grabbed him by the hand and get away from him. So it's more open now than the way it was years ago. I mean, that's
Totally. And for good reason. I think it's time we start to talk about this. And I mean, people have been having experiences for millennia. I mean, it's not a new thing. This isn't a new topic. Everybody's had, I mean, every culture for thousands of years has talked about experiences. I mean, even in the Asian cultures, they have their ancestor shrines. You know what I mean? There's always been this reverence for for those who have gone before us. And yeah, it's very long, but I love that you brought up that kid, because it's so funny. One of my friends, her daughter, because my friend texted me this recently, she said her daughter told her that there are 20 ghosts in her room, and that she's trained 3 of them to do what she says to do. And they just got like a new dog recently, like a puppy. And I'm like, oh, she's training spirits like a puppy. I'm like, good for her. I was like, if she can train spirits and ghosts, she's got it.
That's awesome. Imagine that. You know, you have a bunch of spirits. It's like that show. Remember that old movie with Michael J. Fox, and he had like 3 or 4 ghost friends, and they would go to. And he wasn't a psychic, or he had the ability, but he didn't really. And he went to people's houses. He would have ghosts go to the person's house, make all kinds of noise and stuff, and he'll leave his psychic card on the table, and they would call him up, say, "Have we got ghost?" And then he would go there and tell the ghost.
Oh, that's funny. Stuff. Yeah.
And he would say, "Go," and they would leave. You know, it's just more to that movie too. It was some kind of serial killer.
That's funny. Yeah, I did.
But I forgot the name of that movie. It was Michael J. Fox, and then he had like these ghosts that were, you know, he made him into a psychic and stuff like that. But it was a good movie. So that'd be awesome. You get a bunch of ghosts. You train them to go into a house and haunt it. Then they call you up to get rid of the ghost. You go there.
Oh, was it the Frighteners?
Something like that. Yes.
The Frighteners? Yeah, no, it's definitely this. Yeah, good, cool.
It's a good movie. I enjoyed it. You know, but that'd be awesome. You train the ghost to go and haunt the location as a psychic, and then you go into this. Say, listen, you gotta give me some money to get rid of them. They give you a couple of bucks to get rid of them. You walk in, say, okay, guys, go, and then no more haunting. You're like,
that's hilarious. Yeah, what are we doing wrong, Anthony?
I don't know.
We're clearly doing something wrong.
We're not training the ghost yet. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to talk to some spirit guys. Hey, listen, how do I train these guys? You know?
Yeah.
Get a couple of spirit.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed that she didn't even her daughter wasn't even like, oh, I'm scared. She went right to training them what to do.
Shit, I wouldn't want to be her husband.
Yeah. Clean my room. Close my doors.
You train the ghost to do stuff. Imagine if you do to her husband. Oh boy,
I know.
She'd get him into a piece of clay and mold him.
She's a strong little girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so they'll tell me stuff like that. Like my friends will tell me things that their kids are happening, or they'll ask me questions, and yeah, it's pretty open. I thought it was going to be different when I like came out of the closet about it, to be honest. And I know there's a lot of anxiety mediums have, or psychics have, or investigators have about that, but I really can't say that I have experienced that.
You know, that's awesome. I used to like that story with the kid training the ghost. You know? Yeah.
So silly.
Yeah. But I tell you, not till I started going to like the Paracons, I started thinking I was starting to find my people. You know, because up to that, it was like, I think I did my first Paracon was in 2000. I want to say 15 or 14. First Paracon I ever was part of. And, you know, you walk into these places, and up to that point, you know, you just worried about what you're going to say to people. I really didn't care in a way, but I just didn't want to, because people used to piss me off, and I just wanted to punch them in the face. And back then, I did. You know, I was a bad kid back then. You know, but not to 2015. I actually found my people. 2010, I was There was even before that. I did my first Paragon in 2015, but I started going hanging out with this other group 2010, and I used to get together for dinners and lunches and stuff like that, and then do locations. But they did the same location over and over, and I wanted to do more than just the same location, you know, over and over and over. So that's why I started branching out and doing my own stuff. Um, so, like I said, I've been doing it a long time, and it's more acceptable now for us to talk about it, like I said before, in which I'm you know, so you know, so you have what? What's the next? We're doing an investigation in a couple of weeks, in next month, aren't we? The
Yes. Yeah.
BH Steakhouse or something like
Yeah.
that.
The Public House in Chester, New Jersey. Yes.
That's gonna be awesome.
It is going to be really great. I just went there and did a pre-read with Rich. We, looked at the location to, decide where we can, have everybody and talk to the manager and stuff like that. And we both did a pre-read of the location to feel like where some of the hot spots were and stuff like that. Yes, the steakhouse. Yep, the PH Steakhouse, Public House Steakhouse in Chester, New Jersey. So I'm really excited. They have a wonderful program for the night. It's going to be dinner, an investigation, and then there's also an opportunity to upgrade, and people can stay the night because there's 10 rooms and you can upgrade to actually spend the night. Now, I don't know if there's any tickets left. I think it's already sold out, to be honest, but it might be some. No, the whole thing, I think.
Really? Because I know that as of yesterday, they have 40 tickets sold, and there's 44 tickets that need to be sold. So, I mean, there's only 4 more tickets left.
If you can definitely look at it and reach out to them if you are interested. I don't know if there's any tickets left, but there's also potential that this might be something we do again too. So if it goes well and people really seem to enjoy it, which I can't imagine they wouldn't. I mean, it's great food with amazing investigators. There's so many amazing investigators that are going to be there. You're going to get to experience everybody's different tools and techniques, which is so great that you're going to be able to go from one to the other to see the different areas and how each one of us kind of approaches it, which I think is great. Because the amount of technology that's going to be there that night with all of the groups coming together is
So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome location, and I mean, steak. Okay, we're going to have to eat.
Right? Right. Well, no, steak is very good because steak is very grounding. It's so funny. Myself and one of the mediums I work with, Jill, we're always after we do readings or a demonstration, we're like, we need meat to help ground us. It's very grounding. If you eat too much of it, it's a little too grounding. But
that's why after investigations, we go out wherever we can and get some burgers or something like that. Get some burgers and that's
right. Exactly.
So always helps you out there. People don't realize on investigations, when you do investigations too, should bring water and a snack, because it's very draining and the water brings back. I mean, I bring a Hershey bar because that sugar and the stuff helps me, energize. I guess anything would help me energize.
But yes, potatoes and root vegetables are also very, very grounding too. Yes, because they're also in the ground. So anything that can kind of bring you back down to the earth after is really good. But yes, in the middle of investigations, I always bring food with me. I have to have snacks. Usually it's a little a beef jerky or something like that, but I'll have anything because at any point in time, sometimes it can be a little too much energy. And I need to revamp, and water is essential.
That's right. Yeah.
Even though you're not moving much, like we're not moving around very much, like you're being very still the whole time and being very, but it's like your concentration, like you're just concentrating and your awareness is very open.
Well, the energy is being drawn from you, and that means water from your saliva. That's why you get thirsty. Because when your energy is drained from you, everything comes from you. So when you get the water or something to drink, well, I know I live on Red Bulls on most of my investigations because you're up so many freaking hours. I mean, I've been up like 30 somewhat hours, 40 hours on investigations. I
Yeah.
drive to the
I don't
investigation, you
think I
get
could
there,
do that.
set up, all that stuff, huh? You don't do that?
No, I have to sleep, Anthony. I need my sleep. I don't
You know what sleep
if
is.
I don't, I get sick. Like it's too much. It's like too much for me on investigations to do all that.
Well, a lot of investigations we go on. I mean, I know I've gone on to drive and get to the location. Is also, and then you get to the location, and then say you're a distance, like say 7, 8 hours away, you have to get a hotel. Now you got to check in your hotel, set up, get something to eat, make sure your equipment's ready,
Yeah.
and go to the location, to the haunted location, and you go there and you set up and you do it all night long, and then afterwards, or it's depending how long you're on the location too. Sometimes, you're on. I mean, the Conjuring House, we did that. And I mean, we left. When did we leave? I think we left Friday. We
You
left
haven't
Friday
left yet.
somewhere. Yeah, I mean, all I know is about 40 hours. And yeah, and then you got to drive home. So it's like, and then you sleep for a couple of days. They call it paranormal
Yeah.
hangovers.
It's true. Yeah. No, it's a lot. It's a lot.
You sleep hard after a channeling. Do you sleep hard after a channeling? Do you channel?
I do channel. Yes, actually I do. But in general, if I am opening up to a location, yeah, I do sleep really well that night after. So for example, at the Shanley, I was like, because we stay at the Shanley, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna have like, restless sleep or something like that. Nope. Honestly, Anthony, I slept like a baby that night. I think I slept so well in that room actually. Honestly, I do sleep very well after. It can be very tiring. Yeah.
See, my problem is I'm constantly trying to find evidence. So I feel if I'm sleeping, I'm gonna miss something. So I usually have my cameras going.
Yeah, I was gonna say your cameras are gonna capture that for you.
Yeah, but I also like to hear things. I know my camera would catch it, but
you want to be there. You
want to
be
experience
there.
it. I want
you
to
want to
see.
experience it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Again, physically, sometimes, they scratch me, they punch me, they burn me, they bite me, they scrap me, they lay hand marks on me. I had all that stuff, scratch my face, so.
Yeah, I've been scratched too. So I know I've had that experience. But when I do like a location reading, it doesn't take me that long because when I open up and do the reading, it could be a half hour, like that I'm actually reading the place. And then like the rest of the evening, I would say an hour to 2 hours, probably more like an hour. It depends if I walk around the whole place, and it depends if how big the place is. So yeah, it could be like an hour to 2. But after that, like when we're all in the groups investigating together, I'm not really reading the location anymore. I'm just, experiencing if there's any individuals that are coming forward or like experiencing the energy of the place. So energy wise, it can still be long, but like so you're saying like you want to be up there and you experience it. And I'm like, oh gosh, I feel like I experienced this all in the first hour. And then I'm like, all right, well, let's see, what shows up for a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, well, I think we got it. But you're right. I know it's kind of like that fear of missing out, right? FOMO.
Yeah, I guess
Fear of
so.
missing out.
We go on location, so it's always Ron, me, and Lourdes and Giuseppe. Always the last ones. Last ones. And
I know you guys are amazing.
you know, they everybody goes to sleep and everybody's sleeping, and the four of us are always wandering around doing stuff all night long, and we see the sun come up and then go back down later on that night, and yeah,
It's incredible. I don't know how you guys do it.
yeah.
I bow down to the nighters.
The first time we did the Conjuring House, and it started off with just a couple of us going, and before we know, we had like a bunch of people there. We were supposed to have like 10, and we ended up like almost 20. And it was a lot of things.
Was this the most recent time? The one that when Rich went?
No, it was before that.
Oh,
The first time we went. That was the second time we went.
Okay.
And
Because I was supposed to go the second time and I couldn't with work, but yeah, I missed out on it. Next time.
Was awesome. So John Zaffer showed up that time.
Yeah.
John showed up. He's great to work with because he's very knowledgeable with everything he knows there.
Yeah.
But the first time we went there, a lot of people showed up. We had psychic. We also had the what's his name? Carl Johnson and his brother, Keith. I think it's Keith. Well, they're the first ones to go in the Conjuring House back in the 70s. From there,
wow.
Yeah, they actually were the people of the house contacted the college or something like that, and then they sent people in that were in, and they're like one of the first people that ever go there. Well, Carl came in with us, him and his brother. They actually met us there, but it was so many people there, and we were getting stuff here and there, but not much. So it was like 2:00 in the morning. Everybody says, we're going home. We're going back to our hotels. Me, Ron, Lourdes, and Giuseppe were there. And we heard so much stuff and through the radio and, banging on the ceilings. And it was awesome. And even outside, that outside just as haunted as the inside of that place. Yeah. And you can see from tree to tree, shadows running back and forth.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's an awesome location. It really is. Well, the last one, the one I just came was the second one we went to. I just came back from.
Yeah.
I came back with attachment. You know that?
Really?
Yeah, it was on my leg.
I did not know that.
It was on my leg and it was sucking the energy on me. It's a big ass tick.
How did you find this out?
Because it's a tick. It was a tick.
Oh.
It was attachment. It was a tick. It was sucking the energy out of me.
Oh my gosh, Anthony.
Big ass tick. It was on my leg. I think, son of a bitch. I'm lucky I was a scoutmaster for 14 years. I know how to get rid of them very quickly. But he was big too. He must have been there for a couple of days.
That's scary. Yeah. That's no good. That's real fear there, right? Like that's that's real.
I got home, it's like, and over there I washed up and I cleaned up. I mean, I'm over here, I'm sitting on my bed, taking my sock off. I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh God.
Oh no.
So it was attachment.
It
was attachment sucking the energy out of me.
Oh my gosh, Anthony. Yes, it was. Yes.
So, I'm not lying.
And it came home with you. Nope, you are not lying.
Home. See?
It is literally an energy parasite. I've never heard that's good. Oh, Anthony, God bless you. You are wonderful. But I love that you brought up how the outside of places is also very active. I think sometimes we get really focused on like inside the walls as being the only thing that needs to be investigated. And there's a lot going on outside of the walls. Totally.
Yeah. Two places, the Hinsdale house It's one of the places you got to get to. Activity outside, it's wow. Activity outside.
Hinsdale House. Why is that ringing a bell?
Because well, we just went there too.
Yeah, right. I feel like that just happened.
We did went there too. Because remember the night that Richard and I did the Ritz Theater with the the Spirit Art Show? Yes. That was a Friday night. We left that Friday night. We went to Pennsylvania to my house, my place in PA. And then from there, the next day we went to Hinsdale. We did back to back. That's another weekend that was a crazy weekend because we're up most of the time. And we did the Ron Waters and Giuseppe. Yeah. We went up to the Hinsdale house then. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to do the Hinsdale house. Absolutely.
What the hell is that? Something just fell.
Ooh.
Man, I've been take that as an
affirmation.
What's going on?
Yeah.
It fell out of the curtain too. I'll check it out later. Doesn't sit like that as a ball.
Well, maybe that tick is getting some revenge.
Maybe. Well, he's getting revenge in the East River right now because I flushed this. You're still alive. I caught him doing the bury off to sea.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah, bury off to sea. You know. But the Hinsdale house, we got to get you out there because you will love the outside and the Conjuring house, the outside. 2 locations that you should go to because the outside is just as much as inside. You know. Also, I just went to Wildwood Sanitarium out in it's not too far. It's up in Buffalo, and we found that out. I've been there. 2017. I was one of the first guests that went there because I actually wrote my name on the wall back then, and it's still there.
Wow.
2017. So was the Brooke. She's the owner, the daughter of the owner, but now she's the owner, and she goes, "Oh yeah, you one of the first people here back then." It's like, "Oh, that's cool to know." I didn't realize that back then.
Yeah.
But there's down the block. There is it's like a place that they just a snack joint because right next door they sell the weed and all that stuff. You know, all the
oh boy.
Yeah, but the place we went to was a store next to it, and we walked in there, and you could see it's next to a weed shop because there's every munchie in there. Every kind of munchie that you want when you're high. So we went in there and we just started talking to the woman, and she's a Native American, and and I didn't know this. That place is on a reservation.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. It's the first time I found that out. So that location, you should get to go. Tell myself.
Yeah, I would like I would love that. Yeah. And I've definitely had Native Americans come forward to me multiple times in New Jersey. Absolutely. Which is interesting because again, I didn't really have that kind of experience in Massachusetts when I lived in Massachusetts, or even when I lived in New Hampshire, I didn't really have those experiences. But in New Jersey, yes, I've definitely had Native Americans come to me at some of these locations. But there is a question here from Ufi. Have you had any paranormal veterinary experiences? Not necessarily veterinary paranormal experiences, saying like if I've had like animals in the hospital or something, or any incidences in the hospital. But I do have animals come to me a lot in spirit. So animals, like when I'm doing readings, even at locations, animals will definitely come to me. And I have like a very sensitive connection to animals, but I try really to keep it separate between, reading a situation and my professional work. Yeah. But thank you for that question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, but it's I'm gonna before I don't know when Maureen's gonna come in and knock us off. So
Okay.
anything that's coming up, if you want to start telling everybody how to get in touch with you, tell them your YouTube page, tell them anything that you're doing that they might want to see. Because I know you have a couple of speaking engagements with Richard, Ron, and Lourdes. So
Yeah. Yeah, we have a ton coming up, obviously, because we're going into like our high season of October for the paranormal. Yeah. So how to reach me. So I have a website. It is ghosthistorymedium.com. I also have a YouTube channel. It's Ghost History Medium, a YouTube channel. I have some videos on there. It hasn't been updated in a bit, but it's in general a video of me doing a reading at locations, and then a second video of me doing the research. So those are two ways to reach me. Also, you can email me, ghosthistorymedium@gmail.com. And so what do I have coming up? There is so much. So we have a bunch of demonstrations coming up. So these are small groups, up to 12 people, with group mediumship with myself, another psychic medium named Jill Marie Kelly, and another medium who does spirit art, Richard Michella. Asking for the URL link. Is there a way to type in, Anthony? Can you type in somewhere the...
I'm not good at all any of that.
It's Ghost.
I'm half blind. That's why it's like it takes me a little while going tink, tink, tink.
So it's
sorry,
Ghost
guys.
History Medium, like the three words.
Just
all as
History
one.
Medium.
Yeah, Ghost History Medium. So Dems coming up at the Brick and Mortar in Lafayette, New Jersey, October 3rd. I think that's actually sold out, but we will be continuing to do monthly demonstrations at the Brick and Mortar. So if that is something that's local to you or you're interested in that, reach out to the store because you can sign up for one of our future Dems. Yes, thank you, Lady V. GhostHistoryMedium.com. Perfect.
Thank you, Lady V.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
and Yuffie, thank you.
Goofy. Thank you, guys.
So have another demonstration going on in Denville. Also have some paranormal talks going on in Denville on October 30th. It's going to be a paranormal perspective, an investigator's paranormal perspective, myself and Richard Michella. We work together with New Jersey Paranormal Project. And yeah, the public house investigation, October 27th, that's going to be super exciting. We have Historic Speedwell, which is another public investigation coming up in November. So these you can all see on my upcoming events tab on the website.
I'll be at Speedwell with you.
Yeah, we'd love to have you out.
Typing. I'm here to close it out. Oh, Anthony, I am here to close it out. That's okay. When done, Bobby. I don't know. But we're still talking. So anything else you have? I mean, I see you guys go right into December.
Oh yeah, no, we're booking into December. We're even talking about booking things into the spring at this point too. It's a lot going on. I love it because people are getting more curious about it. People are becoming more open to it. They're curious. I think people are having experiences and they want an open forum, a place where they can feel comfortable to talk about it. You know, you can tell me your experiences. I'm not going to think you're crazy. I'm going to believe you.
That's at the library, isn't it? You're doing them at library?
Yeah, we have some talks at the library. So October 10th is the Harding Library, and November 13th, the Lodi Library. And these are also with Ron and Lourdes with Statacom. So they come to those events also, and we do a little bit of a lecture. Then we have a Statacom session in person, and then we have time for Q&A. So they're really nice, and they're free.
Well, that's even better.
Library.
Good price.
Yeah, everybody loves free.
Yeah, well, everybody knows. Rich has been on our show, Michella.
Beautiful.
His books, and of course, Ron and Lourdes has been here a couple times. with their Staticom and Ron doing his books. So it's you guys are good. It's good that you guys got together like that and you know spreading the word of the paranormal. Spread the word.
We do have a really great group that we found. Everybody's really, really wonderful, really gracious. Every single one of the people that we work with right now are so gracious, and just really, very selfless with it too. We're really here to just speak the work of the tools and also speak the work of the location. It's not all about the scare and fear. I think it's the shifting paradigm of, these places do have history. These are people. There are stories here. And that's really exciting for me, at least.
Yeah. And I'm happy for you guys too. And I'm happy that you guys include me in.
Yeah, we love you, Anthony. You're always a good time.
So I'm always the one showing up with food.
Always showing up with food and so much gear. I don't even know where you keep it at home.
You guys see the room I'm in. This is the room. I got closets and I got it in my garage. I got it here. I got some in my car. I'm already set up to go this weekend to the Massachusetts. And I was tell anybody too, if you're in Massachusetts by Plymouth this weekend, at the what's it called? I wrote it down somewhere. It's called the Plymouth John Carver Inn. It's on the 30th, Massachusetts. It's called Mass Paracon. So you guys in anywhere around that area, come by, stop, say hello to us. I will be there with Ron and Lourdes. I'm having my own table. And behind me, you're going to see what's on my spirit art. So that's what I've been pushing now to the spirit art more than the investigation part, because everybody knows me for the investigation, but nobody knows me for the artist part. So
I love it. I love the art that you're doing. I absolutely love it. I think it's really brave and real and raw and curious.
Thank you. People seem to like it. They like my art better than they like me, so it's pretty cool. They come over the table and say, "Hey, what's that?"
So I tried to draw one of the spirits I saw. This was years ago when I was like, because I can see it clearly. I just can't draw. But so I'm like, I'm going to draw it. So I drew it for my husband and I described the spirit as being this beautiful young woman, and I drew this like old wrinkled woman. And he was like, "This is the beautiful woman you saw." I'm like, okay, I am never drawing ever again. It was mortifying. So I envy anybody who can draw anything. If it looks any amount of what you saw in your head, I envy that.
I mean, I'm actually thinking of somebody. I was just thinking the other day that if I give any lectures or any speeches and stuff, give a little drawing lesson, because it's very easy to draw. Just no. People say they watch stick figures. They roll circles. No, that's not. Whose head is in a complete circle? I know I'm not that skinny. I'm no stick figure. You got to get some girth in there. So I never really took drawing lessons. I never did any of that. So
Well, if you can teach me how to draw, Anthony, that would be a real miracle and a real gift.
I'll show you. If that girl could teach ghosts to do what she wants them to do, I could teach you.
There you go. That's right. There's our empowerment for the night.
Ron from the ER radio. I don't know if you see it. He's right. Yeah. Some of my first shows were actually, I had it in my car. I just sit in my car and do my shows from the car.
That's awesome. Yeah. Look at you.
The cell phone. Now look at me. I'm sitting in front of green screens. Whoa. I moved up. moved up.
Aw.
Now I'm warm inside the house. You know. So yeah, the audience seemed to like everything tonight. I'm glad everybody joined in. We had a lot of people
Yeah, me
coming.
too.
You know, of course, Maureen was here a couple times. She's checking in on me. I'm glad everybody showed. I didn't get a chance to. Jenny Carucci, she's going to help me at that next investigation at the public house. She said she will work
Wonderful.
with me. You know, because
Perfect.
everybody has partners. I don't. I mean,
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, it's good.
she said she helped me, which is good. Because she's good too. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, no, I've met Jenny. She's very nice, very sweet.
So I can't shut you off from the show, so you have to wait till somebody could shut us down because Maureen has complete control. So we might be here for another couple hours.
It's all right. Where should we go next, Anthony? Should we?
I don't know. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Well, yes.
Yes, he's my patient.
That's funny.
If Bigfoot comes up to you, would you give him an examination?
Bigfoot. No, because he's too human-like. I don't.
It's too much human anatomy.
Too much human. Yeah.
Okay. How about the Mothman?
Mothman. Oh gosh, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think moths get sick. Do they get sick? I don't know. I've never.
I never seen a moth cough.
No, never seen a moth cough.
Cough or sneeze or anything. I never seen one of them do that. But like the what do you call it? Some of the cryptids you would. How about the Loch Ness monster or Nessie? Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine that needing help. Yeah. Not going to touch the Jersey Devil, though. I'm not going to touch that thing.
No, Jersey Devil's it's beyond us. Maureen's like, we're waiting, Bobby. Wendigo, yeah. The Wendigo. Yeah, you'll fix that guy.
Oh, the wind. Okay. So this is actually very interesting. I'm so glad you brought this up. So I went to a location and I saw in New Jersey and I saw this kind of indescribable creature. I didn't really have a word for it. And I did a lot of research to try and see what kind of looked like it. And I don't even know how to pronounce it. Wendigo
Yeah.
was actually the creature that it looked like the most from the pictures I could see.
Hey, are we ready to close the show out or what? Because I'm getting like a big delay between the StreamYard and the okay. I just didn't hear it.
Okay. I mean, I guess the Wendigo story, you want to tell that and then we'll go?
No, that was it. That it looks like that. So I'm glad that somebody brought it up.
Okay. It was great to have you. I want to thank you. It was I think it was a good show. I don't know how many people were watching at the end, but Maureen's back. Hi, Maureen.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Maureen.
I'm sorry I missed
Anthony.
everything.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for being on.
Okay, guys. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll see you next